Hi, loves. My name is SR Graham, and I am an author and creator. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Enjoy.
Hi, y'all. How are you doing? What's up, everybody? I am finally back with another video. This time it will be another book review. And I also will be doing the book review for My Soul is a Witness over because I'm a perfectionist, and even though Ecelia, I said it right that time, was nice enough to uh help me to pronounce her name correctly, I still want to do it over because I just want to get her name right. Like I wouldn't I wouldn't like if somebody pronounced mine wrong. So yeah, so I will be doing that one over. But in this video, the book that I will be reviewing is Damaged Intentions by Monica Walters. Monica Walters is a author that recently came up on my radar while I was searching Amazon for books, different books and stuff to read or whatever, because I do have Kindle Unlimited and I love reading. I'm addicted to it, honestly. Um, but she's been popping up on my radar, and like every month, and maybe now even every week, every other week, she's been putting books out. But it's she's writing novellas, um, which in my opinion is a way to pimp the system, and I myself will start doing that because it's a good idea. Like it's less, it's not as long as a novel. It's I think you get 20,000 to 40,000 words, which is pretty, I can do that in about 2 weeks, you know? So definitely taking tips from her because I was wondering, like, dang, how are you writing novels? How are you putting out novels every month? But it's novellas. I can do that. But anyways, y'all know that I've been working on my two monogamous series, and that is still going on. I'm on book 5 now. I've written book 4. I finished the first draft of book 4. Was it 2 weeks ago? Something like that. I think it was 2 weeks ago. So I'm now working on book 5, and I'm also um I'm also about to work on this novella series called Pretty Privilege. So stay tuned for that. I won't be dropping nothing else this month though. I think I gave my self a 6 month period to just create. So I'm gonna take 6 months to just write, see how many books, how many novels, how many novellas, poetry collections that I can get out. Um in that amount of time so that I'll be able to publish back to back like Miss Monica Walters. Like I'm inspired. So I definitely think that this video is fitting, paying homage, homage, or however you uh pronounce it, to one of, and I can't call her a modern author because she could have been writing for a long time and I just didn't know about it. Um, so I won't say that. And y'all already know the deal with me. Y'all know I got cotton mouth, so I have to drink water because I do take medicine because I have a chronic illness. So, um, but yeah, let's get into this book review. The name of the book is Damaged Intentions. The name of the book is Damaged Intentions: The Soul of a Thug. And I think I read this book. It was this year, but I finished it a couple of months ago. I'm really trying to get up to date on the books because I've read so many books and I haven't reviewed them yet. So I'm gonna be doing a whole lot of book reviews. Um in the next coming months, weeks, months, whatever. But this particular book I think is a novella, if I'm not mistaken. Monica Walters has a different novella series, but also a lot of her novellas, novels, whatever, are set in Texas. So I'm going to assume that she's from Texas. I don't know. I'd have to look up info, and I should have done more research on her or whatever. But the setting of most of her stories are from Texas, because I've read a good bit of her books. Like, I'm obsessed with her. Like, when I say I'm obsessed, I'm obsessed. But this particular one is about this character named Kima Richardson. Of course, I got my notes because I don't remember. Kima Richardson Simeon and her husband Philly Simeon. And basically, I think Philly is the main character of the book, but it kind of goes back and forth. Like, the point of view goes back and forth between the two of them. So I'll say both of them is the main character. You get to see their life and this particular incident that happens in their life from both of their point of view. So that's the number one thing that I feel that I really like it. It really helps you connect with the story a lot more when you are reading it from the character's point of view rather than, the author's point of view. And that is also something that I notice in a lot of novels and novellas that I want to also implement in my own writing. Um, of course, even though I do read for entertainment and I just love reading, I also am a fan of the art. I'm a fan of the art of writing novels and poetry and things like that, just creating different stories and things from your imagination. So I'm always going to be a student of the art. But enough of my rambling. Let's get into the story. Okay, so Damage Intentions was published January 2021. So it was published this year at the beginning of the year. And like I said, the story is about this drug dealer, I guess you could say, cuz Philly is a drug dealer. It starts off with him basically talking about um his life as a drug dealer and how it interfered with his personal life, and it interfered with his marriage. Is interfered? I'm trying to use. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It interfered with his marriage. Like, he used to sell drugs back in the day, but he's been selling drugs for so long. But he lied to his wife and told her that he had stopped. Um, but then somehow it blew up in his face, and then she found out that he was lying about, you know, the fact that he stopped. So she separated from him. They broke up. Um, excuse me. I would also like to note that these two are high school sweethearts. So they've been together since they were 15 years old. They got married young. I don't think they got married after they got out of high school. I don't remember all of the details, but I'll try to remember as much as I can. But they were high school sweethearts. So when she find out that he's lying about being out of the drug game, she gets mad and she decides to leave because she sees him as a liability. Like, he of course, with that lifestyle comes drama, comes problems. So she doesn't want anything to do with that. She don't want those problems, and I don't blame her. Cause look, I wouldn't either. Like, I wouldn't be able to handle it. Um, so she separates from him. And so the story starts off with him uh discussing his feelings about the separation and like how much he misses her and he wants his wife back. Yeah, the drug game got him in a chokehold, but it's more important to him to work things out with her. But there's a conflict because he wants to get out of the drug game, but it's hard for him. Like, you can't, it's not something that you can just walk out of, you know. And he also wants to be with his wife, so he kind of has to choose. And I guess she gives him an ultimatum, but the thing about that is they were separated for over 10 years after she found out. So that means that he's been doing this. Like, he had 10 years to stop, is what I'm trying to say. Like, he could have stopped within that 10 years, but it took him 10 years to come to the realization that, okay, I want my wife back. Like, I don't really care about this drug stuff or whatever. Like, it took him that long. So, to me, that's already a red flag. But I guess when you're married, it's different. Like, I feel like the reason why she didn't go through with a divorce is because she was holding out hope that one day he would stop. We all do it as women when we are in relationships with certain men and they do something that we don't agree with. We may give them an ultimatum, and we may separate from them, but we always have that little bit of hope that they'll stop and they'll change for us. And we also all know that the reality is it doesn't happen that often. Um, but like I said, it starts off with him talking about his feelings about it. He goes to this party that his family and friends are having, and they have mutual friends. So, of course, there are going to be instances where they run into each other. So, this is an instance where they ran into each other. He saw her at the party. She was drunk, and he felt like her being drunk and vulnerable would be his opportunity to get back in with her. So, like men do, he took that chance. He took the opportunity to see where how far he could get with her and how far she would let him get, being that he was drunk. I mean, she was drunk. So, she gets drunk to the point where she starts throwing up or whatever. She goes into the bathroom to clean herself up. Then he goes into the bathroom behind her to help her. He escorts her home or whatever. And when they get there, it starts that like connection is there. Like, as he's helping her out, he's making sure that she's good. I don't think they had sex. I don't remember them having sex. They didn't have sex right away. She held out for him, but like they kind of like fooled around a little bit, like made out a little bit, got a little touchy feely with each other, whatever. But she didn't let him get all the way in, so he's not in her head yet, or in her heart, or whatever you want to say. So, after that, for I don't know, in the story for a while they play a game of cat and mouse. Chasing her, him trying to figure her out, get her back, do all he can, and Kima is she's a we call it rodeo. What's the name for it? I wrote it down. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, but she has a rodeo career. She does like the ropes. Is it horses? I think it's horses. She rides horses and she does like the rodeo, the competitions and stuff like that. So that's her career. And then he sells drugs, but he also has a mechanic shop that he bought, which of course is a cover. That's his business so that he can clean his money. So he will look like a legitimate businessman. Um so she is practicing for this event that's coming up in a rodeo or whatever. Um it's one of the things that she does. She immerses herself in it to kind of keep her mind off of him, because she longs for him. She yearns for his affections. Like, she wants to be with him, but she decides that she just doesn't want to put up with everything that comes along with him. Like, she wants him, but she doesn't want everything that comes along with him in the drug game or whatever. So, she tries to keep her distance, and like I said, they have mutual friends, so they always end up in the same room somewhere, at some event, some party, some little get together, whatever. You know how that works. So, she it's finally time for the rodeo event that she's in, and he goes there to support her. I think by this time she's kind of warming up to him, but she hasn't accepted him back yet. She's still keeping her distance. So while they're at the event, he sits and he's watches her and he supports her throughout her whole I guess you could say show or whatever. Excuse me again. But once her like competition is over, he gets up and he goes to go to his truck because of course I think he had to meet someone. He had I think he had to meet someone or something like that. And while he's at his truck, about to get in, he was just talking to one of his friends. I think Jasper is the friend. He's like one of the main of his friends, either that his friend or his cousin. I don't remember. Like my memory is terrible. That's why I should start reviewing books right after I read them. But anyways, he has a little conversation with his friend. He goes to his truck, and then out of nowhere, somebody shoots him. He gets shot. He's not able to see who the guys were, but he kind of has an idea because he has a rival. This dude, I think his name is Drew, who's trying to take him out or whatever. He basically took over the whole. So basically, Philly is not just like a small time drug dealer. Like he's a drug supplier, and he's basically taking over the whole southeast of Texas. So of course he's gonna get enemies. Of course he's gonna have rivals or whatever. So this younger guy named Drew is, I guess you could say he's the antagonist of the story. Like he's the villain. So they have this like little beef or whatever, as drug dealers do. You know what comes with that lifestyle. And so he assumes that that's who put the hit out on him, or that's who killed him. But they didn't kill him. They shot him to warn him. Because if I'm not mistaken, one of the guys had said that this is your warning or whatever. Like after they did it. So he gets rushed to the hospital, the emergency room or whatever. This is what makes Kima, her start to close the distance between them, because she's worried about him. He just got shot. She's in wife mode. She realizes how afraid she is to lose him and all of this stuff. In the midst of being by his side after he gets shot. So she's there or whatever. Like it makes her realize that she wants to be with him. So they have their little moment. She tells him that she wants him to stop with selling drugs and doing what he's doing, because she's afraid of losing him. She don't want to lose him. And then at this moment, she also reveals that she didn't file for a divorce. She told him that she never filed I think he signed divorce papers, but she never filed them. Like she never turned them in or whatever. That's what happened. Yeah. She brings up the fact, this is like down the line. She asked him for a divorce. She finally got him to sign the divorce papers. But in this moment, she reveals to him that she didn't go through with the divorce. She didn't turn him in. She didn't give him to her lawyer or whatever. So this makes him feel like he has hope. So he promises her that he's going to get out of the drug game, that he can't just get out cold turkey or just leave abruptly, because that's not how it works. Like you kind of have to, there's rules. Like there's rules to the game, I guess. You can't just like leave. You gotta like pass your business down to somebody's select. Well, at least this is how it happened in the story. I don't know what they do in the real world. I'm just talking about the story. But he has to find out who in his crew he wants to pass his uh legacy down to or whatever. And of course, he has this right hand man named Muscle. Muscle is kind of like, well, his name is Muscle. He's kind of like his shield, his like bodyguard, his protector, or whatever. But when he got shot, they weren't together. However, like whenever things started happening, Muscle became someone that he kept around him to watch his back. Um, but yes, after he got shot, she realizes that she wants to be with him. He promises her that he's going to get out, but he needs some time. He need her to give him some time because he can't just leave or whatever. So she agrees to it. So now that is out in the air or whatever. They sort of kind of resolved the issue that they had. So they agreed that they're going to work on their marriage or whatever. So since he got shot, she asked him to move back into the house so she could help him out. She help him taking care of him and stuff like that, things that a wife would do in that situation. Um and of course their relationship is not going to just be perfect because um they said that they were going to work on their marriage or they were going to try. So it wasn't. So it was a lot of back and forth. Like one minute she would act like she wanted to be with him, and the next minute she would be cold and distant and didn't want him around. She was just, it was emotional turmoil or whatever, and he started to get annoyed with her behavior. He thinks like, if you're going to accept me, then accept me, and like be all in instead of like halfway, you know what I mean, like one foot out the door. She was kind of like that, and I feel like the reason why is because she was terrified, she was scared. She was scared that he could possibly lose his life, and she was also scared that she could lose hers. Like she could be in danger while dealing with him, and she was like, because that's how things work when you live that lifestyle. But yeah, in the midst of this, them trying to rebuild their relationship or whatever, she meets this guy at a grocery store. He is a white guy who is, I guess you could say, white chocolate, because he kind of has the swag and personality of a black man or whatever. Y'all know the type. So she meets him, um, and he pretty much like kind of shows the interest. He's very, I wouldn't say aggressive, but he's very assertive in his energy. He makes it known that he likes her. He's been feeling her. He wants to get to know her, stuff like that. And at first she brushes him off. Excuse me, but I feel like his swag kind of, and like this is the time where her and Philly are kind of going through it, and this is the time like when she kind of pushed him away after he was like okay from the gunshot or whatever. Did he move back out? I think he moved back out, if I'm not mistaken. She wanted him to get out because she didn't want to be in danger while he was around. But yeah, she meets this man at the grocery store. She gives him her number. Like she just did like it was like a heat of the moment. It was being flirtatious. She liked the feeling cuz when you're in a situation, when you're in a relationship with a guy and it's not working out, and like you want it to work out but it's not, and like you have this loyalty to him, but at the same time you are craving this connection or whatever. And so when there's another guy that comes around, because I kind of feel like we can sometimes place our feelings for one person on another. Like for instance, like I said, you break up with somebody but you didn't want to break up with them, but you did. You felt like you had to do it for whatever reason, that being because you're not doing well mentally, physically, like it's affecting your health or whatever, so you leave, or it's putting your life in danger or whatever reason you break up for them. You do it because you feel like you have to, but you don't want to. So you still kind of yearn for like that affection, that love that you get from them. So anybody that comes along that you meet, not gonna say immediately, and I'm not gonna say everybody, but sometimes you place those feelings that you have for the other man on the new man. You think that you like them, you think that you're open to dating them, when really you just want to feel love. You just want that like connection, that passion, that thing that you're yearning for from the guy that you actually want, so you put those feelings on somebody else. And I feel like men and women do that. We just don't know that that's what's happening. So she flirts with him or whatever. They start texting back and forth. They're flirting on and off, stuff like that. She keeps her distance from him too. I don't think they ever went out on a date or nothing like that. She just met him at the grocery store. And and at the same time, Philly is trying to figure out how to get out of the drug game because he want his wife back. But he's trying to be careful about what he's doing. And now, since somebody shot him, somebody got a hit out on him, he has to figure out who it is, and he has to get them before they get him. Because regardless of whether you quit being a drug supplier or not, you still gonna have enemies, and they still might come after you. That's just what comes with that lifestyle. So he's trying to figure that out. And he's going at the same time he's trying to figure that out, and he's trying to work on his relationship with his wife. They're back and forth. They're having sex on and off. Like, it's just a lot of confusion, emotions being mixed, and stuff like that. Like, so you get the drama in this book. You definitely do, and it makes the story interesting. So he starts to suspect people in his own crew, and I forgot the guy's name that he suspects. I hate that I don't remember, and then I got my phone, so I forgot the guy's name who he suspects, but it's somebody in his crew. Um, he's trying to figure out who shot him, and so he gives everybody like orders, to do their part. And the specific guy who he kind of like is looking at funny, like, I don't know if I could trust you, type of thing. They start to butt heads. They start to clash or whatever, and he tells him to find out who shot him. So when they meet up, so they can talk about what everybody found, like the guy who he suspects is a double agent is crossing him or whatever. He doesn't bring him any information. And so because of that, of course, you a suspect. Then plus you like, and he was coming at him aggressive about taking his spot. Like he wanted to be in Philly's spot. He wanted to be the boss of the crew or whatever. So they start butting heads, and they get into an argument or whatever, and he shoots him. I think he shot him because he felt like he kept telling him that he didn't get no information on him or whatever. And he felt like he couldn't trust him, so he shot him. Then it comes out that another guy in his crew knew that the snake, we're gonna refer to him as a snake. The snake had dealings with Drew, the other guy, the guy in the other crew, their rivals or whatever, their enemy or whatever. And he didn't tell Philly about it until Philly started like asking specific questions. So he gets killed. Philly kills him. So now he got, other people. Of course, he got other people in his crew, but then, now it's just him and Muscle, which is his right hand man. I gotta figure out how to make these shorter because I feel like I talk too much. Okay, so yeah, while he's dealing with this, he still hasn't found out who killed him or whatever, but now he's just gonna assume that it's Drew because who else would it be? He's gotten rid of the two snakes in his crew, so he no longer feels like he has to watch his back because he was paranoid. He got shot. He don't know who did it. His people in his crew was keeping secrets from him. They was doing dirty stuff behind his back, so he's paranoid now. So now he has somebody following his wife around. He's to protect her, whatever. Like he has somebody following her around, and he got his right hand man all the time with him. So what happens next? And at the same time, Kima is still talking to this guy off and on or whatever. But she hasn't met up with him or anything like that. And I think somebody tries to break in their house while she's there. So she calls him, and him and some of their family, their mutual friends, they rushed to the house. They check it out to make sure that she was good. And but by the time they got there, nobody was there. Um, nobody was there. But she did confirm that she saw a figure. She saw somebody outside the window or whatever. They were trying to get in her door. So now he uh gives her more protection. Like their friends start staying with her. She starts staying with some of the friends because now they're coming after his wife directly. Like so he's this makes him more paranoid. Um so he Okay, yeah. He figures out what he's gonna do about the business. He tries to cut ties with all of the people that he was dealing with, like his plug, whatever. He tries to cut ties. He introduces his the right hand man. The right hand man said that he wanted to leave the game too if he was gonna leave. So he was pretty much loyal to him. Loyal. So I forgot what he decided to do. I think he just starts cutting ties with people, with different people or whatever, getting his ducks in a row so he can stop doing what he's doing. So now that he's decided that he wants to get out, he has to get rid of his supply. So they are like popping up in different cities and stuff, cities that they weren't selling drugs in or whatever. I don't know the correct term because I'm not a street person, but I'm trying to explain it to the best of my abilities. So, they're in other people's territory because he's trying to get rid of these drugs. That's also dangerous. So this makes the rival Drew come after him harder. Um, and this time, instead of going directly after Philly, he goes after his wife. So the white guy that she met at the store, she's at the store again. He runs into her again or whatever. But this time he has a gun and he tells her, this time he has ulterior motives, or he always had it, but this time he's about to reveal himself. But he's following her around the store, whatever. She tells him that she doesn't really want nothing to do with him. He's following her around the store, so she thinks that something is up, like her guard is up, which was smart. It should have been up the first time that he just walked up to her, but whatever. So her guard is up right now, so he follows her through the store. Then when she gets ready to leave, she leaves the store. When they get out, he like puts the gun to her back, like puts it in her back where nobody would see it. The cameras weren't able to see it. None of the people were able to see it. She's the only person who knew what happened. And like he pulls the gun out when he gets to her truck. When he gets to her truck, he pulls it out. He tells her to follow him. If you don't do what I say, basically, I'll shoot you. So they get in her truck. They get in her truck. He gets in the passenger side. She gets in the driver's side. I think that's what happens. I'm trying to remember if Drew or did he get it? She get in his truck. I think she got in his truck. He gets in the driver. She gets in the passenger side. And the guy Drew, I think, was in the back, if I'm not mistaken. He was in the back seat. The white guy was in the the driver's seat, and she was in the passenger seat. And so when they get her in the truck and they're like riding down the road, whatever, they tell her to call Philly. She calls him. He talks to Drew on the phone or whatever, but this whole time while they're having a conversation, also the dude hits her as well when they get in the truck because she wasn't like being compliant, I guess you could say. Like she was talking back to them, like she was just giving them a lot of attitude. Probably the same thing that I would do. I wouldn't suggest people do that because it could be dangerous either way. So you're gonna get this junk talk. I'm gonna give you a good tongue lashing. And if I catch you slipping, I'm fighting you. I'm hitting you, whatever I gotta do to survive, whatever I gotta do to get out the way. And that's what she did. But when she had her opportunity, because she had her gun, when she realized what was gonna happen, she put her hand, she was sliding her hand in her pocketbook got her gun, took the safety off and everything, and she just was sitting with it in her hand while they're talking to her husband, like going back and forth about their rival. And he's telling Philly that I got your wife and I want you to do this, whatever, saying what he wants from Philly, which is pretty much for him to leave the drug game and so he can get access to his connects and to, whoever is supplying him, whatever. So, in the midst of that, the white boy is talking junk to her, like calling her stupid for allowing him to get close enough to her to be able to kidnap her. But in my opinion, she wasn't stupid because she never went nowhere with him by herself. Like she never like went on a date or nothing like that with him. All she did was text him. She wouldn't let him get no closer, so I can't say that she was stupid. But anyways, so he's talking junk to her, not even realizing that she has her hand in her pocketbook or she's holding a gun. The first chance she caught him slipping, she shoots him in the head. She knows that he's dead. She turns around and she shoots at Drew, who's in the back seat. I don't remember where she hit him at, but she did hit him, but she didn't kill him. So of course they got into a car accident because now the driver is dead. The car flips over and all types of stuff, whatever. The whole time Philly is on the phone with her, hearing everything that's going on or whatever. He heard the gunshot go off. He heard her I think she was like talking or screaming or something like that as they're in the accident. He heard everything basically. Then, the ambulance comes on the scene, and of course, she wakes up in the hospital, cuffed to the bed. Of course, because the cops don't know what happened. One person is dead, the other person is shot. You're okay. You were in a car accident, but there's no gunshot wounds or whatever. So they suspect that she is the one that the one that's in the wrong, basically, because she killed somebody and she attempted murder on the other person. So they cuff her to the bed because they think that she is the culprit. She's the villain in this story, which it's like, it's this lady and it's two men. Would you think that she held them at gunpoint and kidnapped them, try to rob them together? Like, I can understand if it was just her and the white guy. She killed him. I would believe that maybe she is a robber, but two men, one in the back seat, one in the driver's seat. And why would somebody shoot somebody in the head if they have the power to rob them? Like, if I'm holding you at gunpoint, I'm robbing you, which means I have the power. You're helpless. You don't have a gun. You're not fighting against me. You're driving, so you can't do nothing, because if you do, then you might wreck and you might make both of us lose our lives. You need me to get what you want from my husband or whatever. And I understand why they handcuff her, because nobody was talking. Nobody was saying what happened, whatever. Y'all know how black people are. They don't say stuff. You keep your mouth shut. The snitches get stitches. All of that stuff. Whatever. But they didn't know anything because she was knocked out after the accident. The other guy, the white guy, was dead, and then I think the other guy had gotten shot, but he wasn't hurt that bad. Or I think she missed him and she got hurt from the accident, but he wasn't hurt that bad. But anyway, they suspected that she was the villain, I guess you can say. Philly rushes to the hospital. All of their family rushed to the hospital. She wakes up and they're sitting around her. Philly, I think, and two of their friends are like around or whatever. And as soon as she looks at Philly, she goes off, because now I'm in this hospital. I think her hip was broken. Something was broken. She was bad off or whatever. She had a neck brace around her neck. Something else. So like, I'm injured, like I could have lost my life, and it's because of you. You put me in danger. That's why I left you in the first place. But I just kind of feel like after you had decided that you were going to forgive him and give him another chance and give him the time that he asked for to get out, you can't blame him for what happens. Yeah, it is his fault, but you also decided to be there knowing that he was in trouble. One, you knew that he had people coming after him. You knew that he was in the drug game. You know what lifestyle comes with that. You accepted it. You said that you were willing to work on him as long as he gets out. He did everything that you wanted him to do. So how could you be mad? And I get it, because she was terrified. She could have lost her life. You know? So it's normal to blame somebody for it when really it's your fault, because you allowed that guy to get close enough to you to make it seem like y'all had a little thing. Because when the cops, when they looked at the cameras, it looked like she willingly left with him. It looked like they had like a relationship or whatever, and it looked like she willingly left with him. So because of that, she basically had to go to court. She had to go to court behind it. So now all of this went down. She in this sticky situation. She's refusing to see Philly because she's mad at him. So the only thing he could do really, what happens is she's mad at him, so she doesn't want to be around him. So their family gets together and they support them. They're there for her. They assure him that they're gonna take care of her and she gonna be fine. Do what you gotta do. Basically, do what you gotta do to get out of this mess. Figure out how to get her out of trouble, because she's in trouble now. She is in trouble with the law now because they think that she murdered somebody, or like, she kidnapped, she was holding them at gunpoint or whatever. So now Philly doesn't have a choice but to get out of the drug game, two, tell on himself. Basically, he has to come clean about what was happening in order to get her out of trouble. She was in trouble because of him. Yeah, all of this mess was his fault, but I feel like the decisions that she made after knowing this played a part. Like, in my opinion, she should have taken accountability for her part. But anyway, so they bond her out of jail. Of course, they wasn't gonna let her sit in there. They get a lawyer. They get a good lawyer who is like coaching them through the whole thing, trying to figure out how to get her out of trouble without getting Philly too much time, because he decided that he's gonna take the rap for it. He's gonna come clean to them. However, he got rid of all of the evidence that he was a drug dealer. So that he wouldn't serve a whole lot of time. I forgot what he pleaded guilty to. Like, it was something. I think they did get him on drug charges, but it wasn't supplier drug charges, plugged, charges for people who are like higher up. It wasn't those. He got in trouble for kind of being like just a normal, regular, basic drug dealer, the small timers. You know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, they came up with that plan and they Philly figured out a way to put everything on Drew, but also now the right hand man Muscle, he's still out. When everything went down, he starts to get scared that either he wasn't gonna have no money. He thought Philly was gonna take all of the money and things that he had and give it, I think, to his wife to get out of trouble and for her to have or whatever. So he felt like Philly was betraying him because he wasn't leaving him with anything. He was just leaving him out in the water, in the well to dry. I think that's the saying. I don't know. Anyway, he thought that he was getting betrayed. So now, Philly did everything that he could to keep himself from getting in trouble. The only thing he had left was, I think, some coke that he had hidden under the floorboards in the warehouse that he had. He had a warehouse. The rest of the money he put into the mechanic shop. I forgot, one of his cousins or something was helping him run the mechanic shop or whatever. Or I think he sold the mechanic shop, something. It was a lot. He moved his money, his businesses, his drugs and stuff around so the cops wouldn't have no proof that he was a drug dealer, that he was a supplier, whatever. However, his right hand man went and snitched on him because he thought that he wasn't going to give him no money. He told them he was gonna find the drug, they were gonna find the drugs or whatever. And I think, did they find something or did he clean it out before they got to? I think his lawyer found out some information and she told him what was going on, so he was able to go back behind himself and move it so they wouldn't be able to find it. However, that also let him know that his right hand man had snitched on him. But at this time, he can't do nothing about it because he in jail, awaiting trial or whatever, because he done take the rap for what she did. So he gets locked up. Yeah, she was at the courthouse with him. He gets locked up. So she goes back home after everything, after the meeting with the lawyer, and them her explaining things to her, what's gonna happen or whatever. She goes home, and I think she ends up throwing up in the bushes or something like that. She gets sick. She ends up throwing up in the bushes. But I think one of their friends, like their mutual friends, either took her home or went by to check on her. When she got home, and the right hand man, Muscle, tried to break in their house, in the back of their house. But what happened was the police, because they had police watching her and stuff or whatever. The friend was there. She said she heard somebody in the house. I don't think she went inside. They waited outside the house, her and her friend. He called, or it was a woman. It was a man and a woman. The woman stayed outside with her. The man went inside to see who it was or whatever, and he saw that it was the right hand man, Muscle. So he held him down until the police came, because his wife or whatever called the police. And he he held him down, whatever. The police had gave him his props or whatever, because they told him that it was a good thing that he kept him there or whatever. And also they checked his pockets and stuff. He had condoms in his pockets. So he was planning to rape her. He was planning to steal money from her, because I think he knew that Philly had money in her house, or he thought that Philly had money in her house, but really he kept it at the mechanic shop. He thought that he had money and like the rest of the drugs and stuff at his house with his wife, but he actually kept it. He gave it to his cousin, friend, whatever, to hold or whatever. So let me wrap this up because I've been talking for almost an hour. But anyways, okay, that happened. They caught him. They checked him. He had condoms in his pocket, which meant he was going to rape her. They told Philly what happened, whatever. So she was throwing up and stuff. Chemo was throwing up and getting sick and stuff. So she assumes that, of course, she's pregnant. She takes a pregnancy test. She finds out that she's pregnant. Philly goes to court. Everything comes out. Everything that happened came out. Drew gets arrested for shooting him, number one. For kidnapping her, because I think Philly had the whole conversation recorded, because when Drew called him to blackmail him or whatever, he recorded the conversation. So he had to give that up. Just in case. Which means that in the process of giving Drew up, he's implicating himself, but instead of being getting charges for being a drug supplier. He got charges for like just being a drug dealer or whatever, like a small time one. So I think he had to spend like a year or two. I'm sorry. I think he had to spend like a year or two in prison, or I think it was a year. Yeah, it had to be because she found out she was pregnant like right before he got locked up or whatever. Um, and of course, when he got locked up, they kept in touch through phones and stuff. Like she visited him, and he would like talk to the babies. She would like put the phone to her stomach so he could talk to the babies, and stuff like that. Like they tried to make it work while he was locked up for that year. When he got out, she had already given birth. Like I think like a few months before he got out, she had given birth. And like, it was a happy ending. Like they got back together. Their family was back together after he got out of prison. Um, and I think she decided to try to get her rodeo career back up and running at the end. Oh no, her rodeo career was over because of the injury that she sustained when she got into that accident. I think. Like, but I knew it ended. They had a happy ending with him getting out of prison, him meeting his babies for the first time. Um, I can't remember. I would think that if she was able to have babies, that she would be able to ride a horse, right? Because I would assume that the reason why she couldn't because her pelvic bone, her thigh, whatever, the bones in her leg and her pelvic area would be broken. I know that if your pelvic bone gets broken in a specific way, you're not able to naturally have a baby. I think you would have to have a C-section. I don't. For some people, they can't even get pregnant. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm just talking. But yeah, it ended. It ended on a good note. I'm gonna read my review from Amazon as usual, and then that's it. Cause this is getting long. This is long. Okay. Going into this novel, I thought it would be totally different than it actually was. Although Philly brought a lot of drama to the story, he was a likable character and I rooted for him in every way. We've all been in Kima's shoes at one point or another, and with one guy or another. So I understand where she was coming from. I'm happy that things worked out for them in the end, though. I enjoy reading about their journey to get back on the same page in their relationship. Seeing their family and friends have their backs the way they did was heartwarming. If only more family and friends were like that in real life. Witnessing the support assured me that things would work out for the two of them. Although I could predict what would happen at some points in the story, I still enjoyed reading it. Damaged Intentions was a pretty good romance story, and I recommend it to anyone who loves to read a good hood romance. Because we all love a good hood romance. But anyways, thank you for watching this very long video. I will try to keep my reviews short, but I'm a writer. I'm a writer and like I go into detail about everything whenever I'm writing something, I'm reading something, whatever. So it's kind of hard for me to keep it short. But in the future I will try. Um but yeah, that's it for that story. Is the name of the story is Damaged Intentions by Monica Walters, and I will put a picture of the cover on here for you guys so you can go check it out. It's on Kindle. It's on Kindle. You can get it with Kindle Unlimited. I think it's in KDP Select or whatever. Um, so if you got Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. What else? Something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I give it a. Okay, it gets 5 stars for me. I gave it 5 stars on Amazon, and I would give it 5 stars. It was a very interesting story, and like I said, even though I could predict some of the things that would happen in it, it was still good. Because sometimes when stories are predictable, they become boring because you know what's gonna happen. It wasn't repetitive, because some stories can be that, but it was a good story. I like the way that it flowed. I like the storyline. I like the ending. I liked, like I said, the support of all of their friends and family throughout the whole story to kind of like help them get their marriage back on track. And I think that we need more of that in the real world. People not really inserting themselves in other people's businesses and marriages, but like, help them out when things get off track, to help them to get back to each other if you feel like they can be together and it can be healthy, because not all relationships are healthy, not all marriages are healthy. But yeah, thanks for watching this very long video. I apologize so much for making you sit through this, but like I said, I get wordy because I'm an author, but I hope that you love it still. Also, don't forget to check out my books on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. It's the holidays, so I will be doing a sale soon. By the time I drop this, my Cyber Money sale will be over, so I'm not even gonna mention that. But I'll be doing a holiday sale soon, and I'll post. You can see all of the information by following me on Instagram, Facebook, Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram handle and Facebook handle is Love SRGram. I also have a website, srgram.org. I'll put all of that in the description so you will have that. But thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you read this book, let me know how you feel about it in the comments. If you haven't, you should, because it's a good book. I think it's a good read. And Monica Walters is definitely an author that you should be up on. Like, if you have never heard of her before, you never read any of her books, you should, because you will become a fan instantly. Like, I just like her writing style, and I love a lot of her stories. Anyways, this is the end of this review. Sorry to have kept you for so long, but thank you for watching. Bye.
Visit my website at srgrahamwrites.org to learn more about me and to get news and book updates. Check out my new novel, Drown the Lovers, on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.